Welcome to Tracy Aviary. The show is about to begin. For the comfort of all our guests in the theater, we would like to remind you to please put your strollers outside the theater and make sure all food is stored safely out of sight. Our show features birds that will be flying right over your heads. For their safety, as well as yours, it is important that you remain seated at all times and do not attempt to touch the birds as they fly by. If you need to leave the theater early, please contact one of our ushers for assistance. Once again, welcome to Tracy Aviary, and please enjoy the show.
All right, how is everyone doing today? All right, I'm gonna try that again. How is everyone doing today? All right, I actually have a crowd this time. Awesome. Well, my name is Arnold, and I want to welcome you guys to Tracy Aviary today. And it isn't a beautiful day today. Some people probably don't really agree with me, but I'm from Arizona, so I'm used to this warm weather. But it is still a very beautiful day. And we're going to talk about how beautiful our Earth is and all the things we can do to make it stay that way. But when you guys are probably used to hearing about the topic of conservation, you're probably used to hearing things about habitat destruction and pollution and animals being on the brink of extinction. And when you focus just on that, it can sound pretty negative, right? Well, I'm not going to do that to you today because I still believe the Earth is still a very beautiful place, far from destroyed and not at all a lost cause. There are far more positive things to focus on than negative. And if you don't believe me, you just have to get out there into some of the beautiful natural places that we have right here in Utah. Whether it be the beautiful mountains that we're surrounded by or the gorgeous wetlands, there's a lot of beauty out there. And just think, we are just one state in one country in the entire world. So I'm sure you guys can imagine there are way more beautiful places out there that we can even dream of. So we all have our role to play in order to keep our planet beautiful. And we're going to meet some birds today that just by doing the things that they do in their everyday lives, they keep our planet, they help out our planet. And hopefully we can take some tips from these birds so we can change a few things in our day-to-day lives. Because if we, people and animals alike, all do our small part, and in turn help the creatures around us do their small part, all of those small parts add up to a whole lot. So are you guys ready to meet some Avian Avengers and join them in the fight for the planet? Woo! All right, so I want everyone to direct your attention past our South American pavilion because we have a pole, and on top of the pole we have our box, and coming out is going to be Storm. And Storm is our very handsome red-tailed hawk. Here he comes. Now red-tailed hawks like Storm are some of the most widespread hawks in the United States. As a matter of fact, you can see them right here in Utah. So next time you guys are on a long car ride, instead of playing video games in the back or texting your friends, if you guys look out there to the open fields and tall power poles, I'm sure you can see a red-tailed hawk. In fact, you won't just see one, you can make a game out of it and see just how many red-tailed hawks you can see. Now, these birds like to hunt lots of different small mammals, and what they hunt makes them beneficial to us because they actually keep the rodent populations in control. A red-tailed hawk the size of Storm can eat up to 1,000 mice a year, which is a lot of rodent control. Now, believe it or not, they're actually helping out the rodents that they hunt. Now, I know I'm sounding a little bit crazy, and you're probably thinking, how could they possibly be helping out the animals that they're hunting? Well, they're not helping the individuals that they catch specifically, but they're helping the population as a whole. And so, even though these guys are phenomenal predators, Storm did a great job, he can head off for us. Even though these guys are phenomenal predators, a lot of the times the prey that they catch are the older, weaker, and sometimes even sicker animals. So by getting rid of these older, weaker, and sicker animals, they're allowing the healthy individuals to thrive and reproduce. So they keep the rodent control, not only rodents under control, but keep their populations nice and healthy. And without them, we'd be knee-deep in rats. So that was Storm, our very beautiful red-tailed hawk. You guys can give him a round of applause. He's working really hard today. You guys are enjoying the shade, but he's got to fly in the hot sun, so he did a really good job. So you probably think that a predator, a top-notch predator like Storm, they have it easy being at the top of the food chain. But they don't, because oftentimes when there's pollution in a habitat, those top-notch predators are the ones that are hit the hardest by pollution. So we're going to meet a bird who tells us the story of just how tough of a time predators can face out there with things like pollution. But I said no doom and gloom stories today, and this one has a happy ending, one that we as people made possible. So I'm going to need a volunteer to help me bring out this bird. Do we have any volunteers? Do you right here want to come help me out? You can come join me on stage. All right. Now what's your name? Sierra? All right, Sierra. You're going to come stand right here for me. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. Like I said, this is another raptor, so we're going to give you this glove. Now, we're not giving you this glove because to protect you from because he's going to hurt you, but we're giving you this glove because these birds have powerful talons, which are the tools they use to catch their prey, and we want to be respectful of their talons. So you're going to go ahead and make a fist, like this, and point it right at this tree. Perfect. So I think we're about ready to meet Phoenix, our Aplomado falcon. Now, Aplomado falcons, like Phoenix, are, in my opinion, some of the most incredible predators on the planet. They certainly are the fastest. You're probably more familiar with the peregrine falcon, Phoenix's larger cousin, who is in fact the fastest animal on the planet. They can reach speeds of 240 miles an hour in their hunting dives. Now, raptors like the peregrine falcon and our national symbol, the bald eagle, were in a lot of trouble in the 1970s. And this is because of a pesticide being used, and it's called DDT. So the pesticide was sprayed on crops, and then small animals would eat the crops, and as well as it run off into our rivers and streams. Now, what happened is that animals directly affected by it weren't harmed, but when predators like falcons or eagles ate a lot of these animals, it actually drove them to the brink of extinction. So I said this story had a happy ending, and I wasn't lying. So in 1972, we outlawed the use of DDT, and I'm proud to say that both the peregrine falcon and the bald eagle have been removed from the endangered species list. So this is you guys can clap for that. That's a great story, where we were actually the heroes. So it just goes to show, no matter how bad a situation may look, if we care enough to change our behavior, we can make a huge difference in animals' lives. So we're going to go ahead and let Phoenix head off stage for us, our positive inspiration that all things are possible. And let's give a hand to our brave volunteer for helping us out. You can have a seat. Now, raptors like Phoenix the falcon and Hawk and Storm the red-tailed hawk certainly are avian avengers in their day-to-day lives. And they definitely do us a great service in keeping those rodents and prey populations under control. But if we want to help out these birds, by helping them out, we do simple things like watching out what pesticides we use in our own home and making sure we properly dispose of them. Because if we do those simple things, we will keep our waterways nice and clean. And by doing this, we'll be helping all life, including our own. So we have another bird to meet, and he kind of looks like a velociraptor, but he does not eat meat at all. So do we have any brave volunteers who want to help me bring out this bird that looks like a velociraptor? I saw your hand go up first. You can come join me right here on this stone. Now, what's your name? Tom? You're not afraid of birds, are you, Tom? That's good, Tom, because you're going to help me bring out the biggest bird in the whole aviary. How does that sound? Sounds pretty good? All right. So, Tom, he's a really big bird, so I'm going to need to see the gun, see how strong you are. Tom, you're really strong. And as it turns out, I'm just teasing you, Tom, because this bird is so big that me and you together couldn't hold him. I just wanted to make you flex in front of this whole audience. I'm sorry. I'm just teasing you. But you're going to have a lot of fun. So, Tom, I'm going to give you his snack. Now, if you notice, Tom, there are fruits, veggies, alfalfa pellets, and along with you, you'll have a full course meal. So fruits, veggies, meat. How's that sound? I'm just teasing you again, Tom. I'm having too much fun up here. So, Tom, this bird, he's been here for 17 years, so he's very set in his ways. And he will only come out if you say the magic words. Please? Now that is a magic word, but this is not the one that he's trained to come out on. So the magic words are Dromaeus novalindiae. I know, I said it a little fast. I'm sorry. I'll say it again more slowly, and we'll have you say it, Tom, as well as everyone in our entire audience say it. So the magic words are Dromaeus, Nova, Halindiae. All right, it sounds like you guys got it. So on the count of 3, we're going to yell this out as loud as we can, and hopefully Tom's going to meet this bird, all right? 1, 2, 3. Dromaeus Nova Halindiae. And if you look to your right, Tom, it works. So here comes Sydney, our emu. But you guys do that, of course. Now, what did I say that he looks like a meat-eating dinosaur? He's got those really big legs that look just like a T-Rex, straight out of Jurassic Park. But of course, these birds do not eat meat, they are herbivores. So what these guys do to help the planet is they help keep the plant populations from overgrowing. So they will roam around and eat lots of different plant materials. But they also help out the plants because as the seeds pass through them, which all things eventually do, any undigested seeds will then later be deposited across the habitat. So these emus act as seed dispersers. And any seeds that come out of Sydney come out with some handy-dandy natural fertilizer. So seed dispersing birds are very important to every ecosystem. Now, I want to tell you guys my favorite thing about Sydney. Now, even though Sydney will typically, or Sydney's wild relatives will typically casually roam around the Australian outback, when they feel threatened, they can reach speeds of 35 miles an hour running across the Australian outback. So they're the fastest birds, some of the fastest birds on two legs. So Tom, how does it feel to be nose to beak with the second largest bird in the world? That's pretty cool. You made a new friend. Sydney had a lot of grapes in there, so Sydney's going to be your new buddy. So Sydney, 35 miles an hour. Okay, that wasn't quite 35 miles an hour today. But let's give a hand to Tom and Sydney for coming out, for you guys seeing it. Now, seed dispersing birds like Sydney or emu are very important, but they live all the way in Australia. But you don't have to go all the way to Australia to meet a seed dispersing bird because we have them right here in Utah. So I'm hoping we're going to bring one out, but I'm going to need 2 more volunteers. And we're actually going to need some bigger volunteers. So some bigger trees. You can help out. You want to stand on the back row right where Cam is. And you can help out. And can you stand like right over here on this gap right here? So Cam is going to get you guys all set up to meet our local seed dispersing bird. So you're going to wait for Cam to come behind you and he will give you directions. So Cam's our first volunteer. Ready? So I think we're ready to meet the brains of our Avian Avengers. So here comes Maleficent. And Maleficent is our American crow. Now, crows are so smart, they have figured out how to benefit from people. That's why we're lucky to be able to see them right here in the heart of Salt Lake City. Now, crows are so smart, they plan ahead. They know that food can get really scarce in the winter times. So, crows like to work smarter and not harder. So what crows will do is in the spring and summertime, they will hide food or cache it away in tree cavities. Yeah, Millie, cache it. You can do it, Mill. So they'll hide it in different locations, whether it be a tree cavity or a hole in the ground. And this behavior is called caching. Now, as smart as crows are, they don't always remember where all their different locations are. And this is how they help out the habitat. So any forgotten seeds that are buried in the ground will then grow into new plants. And this is how our crows act as seed dispersers. So they help regenerate the habitat. So, Millie, you better hide that away. It's going to be a long winter, I think. All right, good job, Millie. So, besides being excellent seed dispersers, I actually challenge you guys, next time you're out and you see a crow, you actually just watch them for a few minutes, because they're always up to something really clever. All right, Maleficent, you want to head off? That was Maleficent, our American crow. You guys, she appreciates a round of applause. She did a really good job for us this afternoon. Now, seed dispersing birds like Maleficent and Sydney, our American crow, they do a great job at keeping those plants around for us. And we all benefit from the work that they do for keeping plants around. Because plants provide us with oxygen, food, and as well as shelter. And a lot of us are benefiting from the shelter right now from these big tall trees protecting us from the sun. And if we want to take some hints or from these birds, we can follow their lead by just making sure if we plant some Utah native plants in our own backyards, or even go that extra mile and plant a tree, you'll be helping out just like our seed dispersers. And not only that, if you plant Utah native plants, you'll be giving us oxygen and all those great things, but you'll also be giving habitat for Utah native birds. So, we just met 2 birds that eat primarily plant material, but the next birds coming out are some of the greatest Avian Avengers in the entire planet. And they happen to be the most misunderstood birds. These guys are a really great example, and they show us that you don't always have to be the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, or the smartest. But if you're out there doing your part in nature, you're actually if you're just doing your part, no matter how small it be, you actually are making a difference. So we're going to meet these Avian Avengers right now. So I want everyone once again to direct your attention to our tall release pole. And coming out is going to be Grunt, our very beautiful king vulture. Now king vultures like Grunt will soar for hours on end just like this. And they will use their incredible eyesight and sometimes even sense of smell to find the things that they like to eat. Now what does a beautiful vulture like Grunt like to eat? Carrion. And carrion is just the polite word for dead and rotten animal carcass. Kind of gross. That's why we say carrion. But this is not 100% true, because even though vultures can eat those dead and rotten carcasses, they are so efficient at finding food, oftentimes they will find it within hours of the animal dying. So Grunt's going to show you what they do when they find a carcass. They will go and clean it up. So these birds are nature's #1 recyclers, and they go and clean up things before they're able to build up disease and bacteria. So Grunt did a really great job. She can head off for us. Good work, Grunt. Now, carrion cleaners like Grunt are found in South America, but you don't have to go all the way to South America to meet those really beautiful vultures, because we're really lucky right here in the US to have plenty of different species of vultures, and we're going to meet one right now. So this is Vader, our very cute black vulture. Now black vultures, our populations are doing very well, and we're really lucky to have them here because other places aren't so lucky. Places like Asia are seeing their vulture populations decline, and as their vulture populations decline, they're seeing increases of diseases like cholera, botulism, and even rabies that are affecting animals as well as people. So the Asian vulture crisis is certainly an example of you don't... Didn't anyone ever teach you that you have to eat your food before you fly? The Asian vulture crisis is certainly an example of you don't know what you've got till it's gone. So we need to make sure that we do everything we can to keep these beautiful birds around for generations to come. So Vader's going to head off for us. Now, Vader did a great job. Now, we can't talk about the cleanup crew without talking about our branch that we have right here in Utah. And our branch of the cleanup crew are very beautiful turkey vultures, and we're going to be meeting one right now. So coming out is going to be Suli, and Suli is a turkey vulture, and she will clean up, make sure that Grunt didn't miss anything. Now, believe it or not, a turkey vulture the size of Suli can eat up to 100 pounds of carrion in a year, which is a lot of dead stuff. So if you multiply how many hundreds of thousands of vultures by 100 pounds of carrion, you like me will really appreciate that we have these birds around. Because can you guys imagine what our home of Utah would look and smell like without these beautiful birds doing their job? And believe it or not, if we want to help out vultures and help the planet, all we have to do is do simple things like make sure our trash ends up in the trash and recycle. Because the #1 reason for vultures decline across the world is actually pollution. So all we have to do is be like a vulture to help vultures, which I think is one of the greatest things you can do. So Suli did a great job. She can head out for us. Our very beautiful turkey vulture. Now we all hear how we should be better environmental stewards, and we should. But as we learned today, the job is not all ours. We have Avian Avengers out there doing their part. And since every animal's job is important and all things are connected, it's really simple. If you just get out there and do a small job, it can add up to a lot. So, before you guys go, I want to tell you what I think is the most important thing about saving our planet. And that is just to get out there and enjoy it. We're really lucky in Utah to have a lot of beautiful natural places, as well as a lot of the birds you guys met today are Utah natives. You guys saw Storm, our red-tailed hawk, Maleficent, our American crow, Suli, our turkey vulture, as well as Najoni, our very beautiful golden eagle. So if you guys just get out there into those beautiful natural places, I'm sure you guys will fall in love, will find something that you love, and when you love something, you more naturally want to protect it. So I want to thank you guys for spending this afternoon with us, spend a little time with us at Tracy Aviary. Cam and Najoni, our beautiful golden eagle, will be hanging out for a little bit. So on your way out, be sure to stop and say hi, snap a few pictures. Otherwise, have a wonderful afternoon, and thanks for coming to the aviary.